Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi lands in Buenos Aires for a bilateral visit in the third leg of his five-nation tour. Receives a warm reception from the Indian community. PM to hold detailed talks with Argentinian President Javier Milei later today. US President Donald Trump signs into law the One Big Beautiful Bill during a celebratory 4th of July ceremony at the White House. Donald Trump says he is optimistic of a Gaza ceasefire deal by next week after Hamas says it is ready to start Gaza ceasefire talks immediately. At least 24 people reported dead after torrential rain triggers flash flooding in parts of central Texas in the US. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Argentina on a two-day visit. The Prime Minister was accorded a ceremonial welcome upon arrival at the airport. He will hold talks with the top leadership of the country to review existing cooperation and explore ways to strengthen ties in important areas. The visit aims to further deepen the multifaceted strategic partnership between India and Argentina. This is the first bilateral visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Argentina in 57 years, marking a new chapter in India-Argentina ties. Upon his arrival in Buenos Aires earlier today, the Indian community extended a warm and enthusiastic welcome to Prime Minister Modi. Members of the Indian diaspora gathered at a hotel in the city to greet him with slogans, songs and traditional gestures. Upon Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival at the hotel, the Indian diaspora showed zeal chanting "Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindosita Hamara," turning the moment into a colourful celebration of Indian culture abroad. DD India correspondent Arun Sharma brings us the glimpses.
Mr. Narendra Modi has arrived in Argentina, and people of Indian diaspora, they have welcomed Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And not only that, it is basically the Argentine people, they are also welcoming Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Well, first of all, I have that cultural artist with me who performed in front of Prime Minister Modi. First of all, Anandini, tell us that what sort of cultural art form that you presented in front of Prime Minister Modi?
Namaskar. We presented Odissi, Bharatanatyam and Kathak, and we are super thrilled to have this opportunity, such a blessing, for us to perform in front of him and offer, a very traditional piece, a Mallari, and offering Pushpanjali, sun dance and music.
All right. What did Prime Minister Modi tell you when he met you when you were performing the dance?
I saw him looking at us intently, and then at some point I hear him saying "Sabash" and praising us. So
you know what Shabash means?
I think it means great work.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm so happy that it went on well, and we had this amazing opportunity to perform. Yeah, so 3 different styles together in Argentina, welcoming the Prime.
This is known as Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. That means the India coming together. It's one India primarily. These people might be from different states in India, but they are living in Argentina. But today they are saying that we are from India. This is Bharat. And of course, they want to sing some song first of all. Yeah, what was that song?
सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदोसिता हमारा हमारा सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुल है इसके ये गुलसिता हमारा हमारा सारे जहां से अच्छा
Sare jahan se acha Hindustán hamara. That is what the Indian diaspora in Argentina is saying today when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here in Argentina. So first of all, sir, you also tell me that you are residing in Argentina. You know, now as an Argentinian, how are you looking at the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Argentina?
Well, first of all, we are very happy and very elated. Modi ji has changed India, and I think our local government has also a lot to learn from Modi ji, and they can bring those changes to Argentina also.
This gentleman is from Maharashtra, and his wife is from Argentina. So yes, this is an ideal case study that how, you know, the Indian culture is uniting two countries. So tell me something, is yoga, Ayurveda, is that uniting you people?
Yes, very much so. We met 7 years ago in a yoga ashram together, and she's an excellent yoga teacher, and she teaches physical yoga, a bit of philosophy. I teach philosophy of yoga and mantras, and I sing myself. And yoga is something which is uniting the two countries together.
The Indian diaspora are really excited to meet Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and of course this visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to give a major push to people ties as well as far as the India-Argentina relations are concerned. With camera person Vinay, Arun Sharma, Doordarshan News, Argentina.
Modi, 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 Modi. Football diplomacy is set to take center stage as Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits Argentina. But how football connects India and Argentina? Our correspondent Arun Sharma reports from the iconic Boca Juniors Stadium in Buenos Aires.
There is great fan following for game like football in country like India. Even Prime Minister Narendra Modi has mentioned on various occasions that in place or in state like Madhya Pradesh, there is a village that is known as Mini Brazil, whereby, you know, one or the other family member of that village is into football. So this shows that how people are related to this game of football. Even in 2022, when the Argentina won the FIFA World Cup, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was one of the top leaders who wished the Argentinian team on their victory. And we also know this fact that during the podcast with the Lex Friedman, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Diego Maradona is his all-time favorite player. So this shows that how closely Prime Minister Narendra Modi observes, watches and follows this game of football. We also know this fact that when the then Foreign Minister of Argentina, when he was on his visit to India in 2023, he gifted Prime Minister Narendra Modi the t-shirt of the official t-shirt of the Argentina football team. That was the Messi t-shirt primarily. So this was taking all the limelights on the social media when you know, he gifted this t-shirt to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So of course you know, all these aspects showcases us that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he will be in Argentina, football diplomacy is going to take a center stage, and this football diplomacy will take the relations between both the countries to new dimensions and new heights. With camera person Vinay, Arun Sharma, Doordarshan News, Argentina.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi concluded his landmark two-day visit to Trinidad and Tobago, marking a new chapter in bilateral relations. The visit saw a deepening relationship between the two countries with unprecedented warmth and respect on display.
A moment of history in Port of Spain. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was conferred the highest civilian honor of Trinidad and Tobago, the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, a rare recognition bestowed at a grand ceremony hosted by President Christine Carla Kangaloo at her official residence.
इस सम्मान का पहली बार किसी फॉरेन लीडर को दिए जाना हमारे विशेष संबंधों की गहराई को दर्शाता है। यह संबंध हमारे साझा इतिहास और सांस्कृतिक धरोहर पर आधारित है।
Trinidad and Tobago is immensely glad to have been able to bestow upon you, sir, our nation's highest honor, in recognition of the tremendous work that you have done with our nation over the years, and for the kindness and the generosity which you have always shown to our country, and indeed our region. Your kindness and generosity to the people of Trinidad and Tobago are legendary.
Earlier in the day, PM Modi also congratulated President Kangaloo for being conferred the Prasar Bharati Samman Award and invited her to visit India soon. Later, Prime Minister Modi met with Trinidad and Tobago's newly elected Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bharati at the historic Red House. In their first bilateral meeting since her re-election, both leaders discussed ways to deepen cooperation in key sectors. 6 MOUs signed between India and Trinidad and Tobago. Pharmacopoeia collaboration, cooperation on standards for medicines and traditional drugs, quick impact projects, support for grassroots level development projects in TNT, cultural exchange program, promotion of mutual art, heritage and cultural initiatives, sports cooperation, joint training programs and exchange in youth and sports, diplomatic training, capacity building through training of TNT diplomats in India, ICCAR chairs for Hindi and Indian studies, establishing Indian language and cultural studies in TNT universities.
Prime Minister Modi is recognized internationally as one of the world's most respected, most admired visionary leaders who has transformed and redefined and repositioned his own country as a prominent and dominant global power.
Both Prime Ministers called for greater cooperation on climate action, cyber security and disaster management while reaffirming their joint resolve to combat terrorism in all its forms. Prime Minister Narendra Modi described terrorism as the enemy of humanity and called for a united global stand against it during an address to the joint session of Trinidad and Tobago's parliament.
Terrorism is the enemy of humanity. This very Red House has itself witnessed the wounds of terror and the loss of innocent blood. We must stand united to deny terrorism any shelter or space. We thank the people and the government of this country for standing with us in our fight against terrorism.
PM Modi thanked TNT for its solidarity against terrorism and reiterated India's commitment to the global south. PM Modi's outreach to the Caribbean has reignited a historic bond powered by shared values, strategic cooperation and a vibrant Indian diaspora. With inputs from Akshay Dongre from Trinidad and Tobago, DD India.
India's toy industry has witnessed a big turnaround from import dependency to becoming a global exporter to 153 countries. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal credited consistent policy support, quality enforcement and robust local manufacturing clusters for this success. Speaking at the 16th Toy Biz International B2B Expo 2025 in New Delhi, the minister urged manufacturers to focus on design, packaging and branding, highlighting children's innovation and creativity on display at the event. Minister Goyal said India is not only moving forward towards self-reliance but now competes with confidence on the global stage.
Design, packaging and branding, ये तीन विषयों के ऊपर अगर हमने सबने फोकस किया तो मैं समझता हूं कि आगे चल के the world will be our market और दुनिया के आंकड़े देखें तो इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड टॉयज का बहुत बड़ा होता है। हमारा तो लक्ष्य होना चाहिए 2-4 बड़ी कंपनियां बंद हो जाएं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय, लेकिन भारत की कंपनियां और बड़ी बनें।
India is not only the world's fourth largest economy, it is also one of the most equal societies today. As per the latest World Bank data, India's Gini index stands at 25.5, making it the fourth most equal country in the world after the Slovak Republic, Slovenia and Belarus. This achievement reflects India's consistent focus on reducing poverty, expanding financial inclusion and delivering targeted welfare through initiatives such as Jan Dhan Yojana, direct benefit transfers and Ayushman Bharat. Over the past decade, 171 million Indians have been lifted out of extreme poverty, with the poverty rate falling sharply from 16.2% in 2011-12 to just 2.3% in 2022-23 based on the $2.15 per day threshold. India's steady progress towards income equality has brought real improvements in people's lives. India stands out as a global example of how economic growth and equality can go hand in hand, proving that with inclusive policies and strong intent, development and fairness can advance together. Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Trump and Zelensky hold talks, discuss strengthening Ukraine's air defenses. World's top athletes to compete as NRA Chopra Classic kicks off in India's southern city of Bengaluru on Saturday. US launch a bombing campaign against Iran. The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. This saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. We read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on Welcome back, you're watching DD India Live. Heavy rains have caused devastating flash floods along the Guadalupe River in south-central Texas, leaving at least 24 people dead and nearly 24 girls unaccounted for on Friday. Among the missing were 23 to 25 people at an all-girls Christian summer camp located on the banks of the rain-engorged Guadalupe. And rescue teams scrambled to save dozens of victims trapped by high water. And as of Friday night, emergency personnel had rescued or evacuated 237 people, including 167 by helicopter. The U.S. National Weather Service has declared a flash flood emergency for parts of Kerr County in south central Texas Hill Country, and with additional rain forecast in the region, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has warned that an ongoing threat for possible flash flooding extended from San Antonio to Waco for the next 24 to 48 hours.
We brought in over 100 troopers, and they've worked all day rescues, high water vehicles, boats, rescue drivers, divers, 7 rescue helicopters with hoist capabilities.
U.S. President Donald Trump also expressed his concern towards the devastation caused by the Texas floods. Trump called the situation terrible and shocking.
It's terrible, the floods. It's shocking. We'll take care of it. We're working with the governor. It's a terrible thing.
On America's 249th birthday, on the 4th of July, U.S. President Donald Trump signed what he calls the One Big Beautiful Bill, a tax and spending package that could reshape U.S. policy for years. Although it's also facing fierce opposition from both Democrats and some in Trump's own party. No more with this report by DD India's Antara Sinha.
At a grand Independence Day ceremony in Washington with First Lady Melania Trump by his side, US President Donald Trump brushed aside criticism on the 4th of July. The pomp was unmistakable. A B-2 stealth bomber flyover fighter jets against that dramatic backdrop. the US president declared.
What we've done is put everything into one bill. It's never happened before. It's the biggest bill of its type in history.
Flanked by Republican lawmakers, Donald Trump signed the massive bill that delivers on key campaign promises. But the cost? An estimated $3.4 trillion added to the national deficit over 10 years. The bill also brings the largest cuts to Medicaid since it began in the 1960s. Analysts say up to 17 million Americans could lose coverage, with rural hospitals especially hard hit. Despite its passage, the bill has deeply divided Republicans. It scraped through the House by just 4 votes, 218 to 214. GOP Speaker Mike Johnson rallied last-minute holdouts, earning a public thank you from Trump. Even former ally Elon Musk opposed the measure, calling it fiscally reckless. The signing of the bill caps 2 weeks of wins for Trump, including a Supreme Court ruling limiting judges' ability to block his policies, a NATO spending deal, and a ceasefire between Iran and Israel following what Trump described as flawless US airstrikes. Democrats say the bill is a massive wealth shift from the poorest Americans to the richest, and they're betting on public anger to help flip the House in 2026. For now, Trump celebrates a legislative victory. However, the battle lines are already being drawn, with 2026 midterms looming. Antara Sinha for DD India.
Happy 4th of July.
Hamas said it has responded positively to a US-brokered Gaza ceasefire proposal and was ready to start talks immediately, signaling a potential breakthrough in the Israel-Hamas conflict, which is now in its 21st month. The announcement came after it held consultations with other Palestinian factions and before a visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Washington on Monday, where President Donald Trump is pushing for an end to the conflict. Hamas ally Islamic Jihad said it supported ceasefire talks but demanded guarantees that Israel will not resume its aggression once hostages held in Gaza are freed. 2 previous ceasefires brokered by Qatar, Egypt and the United States have seen temporary halts in fighting, coupled with the return of Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. US President Donald Trump has expressed optimism that Gaza ceasefire deal could happen by next week after Hamas said it responded in a positive spirit to the US brokered ceasefire proposal.
They said they gave me a positive response? Yes. Well, that's good. I mean, I've heard that, but they haven't briefed me on it yet. I think they're going to be positive about it. We have to get it over with. Hamas we have to get it over with. We have to do something about Gaza. We've been doing it. You know, we're sending a lot of aid, a lot of money and a lot of aid. Otherwise, you have people in big, big trouble. But, yeah, I think it's been very positive, a good response. Yes, please. There could be a Gaza deal next week, yeah. How optimistic are you? I'm very optimistic.
In another update, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and US President Donald Trump held a phone call where the two leaders discussed air defenses and agreed to work on increasing Kyiv's capability to defend the sky amid escalating Russian attacks. In a message on Telegram, Zelensky said that he discussed joint defense production as well as joint purchases and investments with the US leader. Ukraine has been asking Washington to sell it more Patriot missiles and systems that it sees as key to defending its cities from Russian airstrikes.
I spoke with President Trump. It was an important conversation. We agreed to arrange a meeting between our teams to strengthen air defense capabilities. We had an in-depth discussion about joint production, something both us and the United States need.
In sports, a tournament named after India as a double Olympic medals winner, Neeraj Chopra, kicks off in southern city of Bengaluru on Saturday. The star-studded 12-member Neeraj Chopra Classic is set to be the country's first World Athletics Category A event. Ace javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra hopes The competition would transform India's athletics landscape and become a regular occurrence. Here's a report.
The Neeraj Chopra Classic, a javelin throw competition in Bengaluru on Saturday, marks a watershed moment for Indian sports. The star-studded inaugural tournament is set to be India's first World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Level or World Athletics Category A event. The Neeraj Chopra Classic, named after double Olympic medals winner Neeraj Chopra, features top stars from the world. India's ace javelin thrower Chopra clinched gold and silver medals at Tokyo and Paris Olympics. Neeraj, who broke the 90-meter mark for the first time at the Doha Diamond League, is among the favourites to claim the title.
बिल्कुल परफॉर्मेंस के लिए तो सोच ही रहा हूं कि अच्छा थ्रो करना है, लेकिन सबसे उससे ही बड़ी बात है कि इस इवेंट को कैसे सक्सेसफुल कर सके और आगे फ्यूचर में इसको बढ़ा सकें, ताकि हम कोशिश कर सके कि बाकी एथलेटिक्स इवेंट्स भी इसमें ऐड करें और हमारे जो अच्छे इंडियन एथलीट्स हैं उनको भी मौका मिल पाए.
Some of the prominent names include Olympic gold medalist Thomas Roller of Germany and 2015 world champion Julius Yego of Kenya and Luis Mauricio da Silva of Brazil. The Indian contingent is completed with Sachin Yadav, Rohit Yadav, Sahil Silwal and Yashveer Singh. The 12-member tournament aspires to be an important step in India's quest to become a world sporting power and provide a world-class platform to aspiring young athletes. Sports Desk, DD India.
That's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmun Paracharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.